Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to the show, Amy Weber Unleashed. I am here today with Vanessa Serros. How are you?
I'm doing great.
You're so sweet to come and do my podcast.
Of course.
I don't know if people know much about Vanessa other than the fact that she's drop dead gorgeous in the best shape ever, but really has a big part of, the Sticky Paws family and bringing all of our podcasts together and, making sure that we look our best and do our best. So thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
I know. I come into the studio. I come in usually and I'll be like, wow, that's really cool. And people are like, Vanessa did that herself. Do you find that because people like underestimate me. I don't know if it's my size, because you and they underestimate. It's either because I was a model or it's just like that's all the lane that we're allowed to be in. Do you get underestimated a lot as well?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Because I'm tiny like you. I'm also very quiet generally.
Okay.
I don't speak very much unless you're in my closest circle. So I think people are surprised. And like anything that they learn about me, and they're like, oh, wow.
Are you shy by nature?
Yes.
Yeah. And do people take that they think you're a bitch because you're...
Probably.
I
don't know.
I got that so much that literally if someone starts a conversation with me, it used to be that I could then continue on with that conversation, but to actually initiate a conversation with a stranger was so hard for me.
Yeah. I was painfully shy in middle school and high school.
Really?
Yeah, so bad.
Why? Because you were little, or just?
I think that was definitely part of it.
Yeah.
I just never felt like I really fit in. I didn't connect with people my age. I think I've always kind of been an old soul. So middle school and high school were hard. And I don't know if I was kind of judgy or felt like I just didn't want to deal with the drama. Right. I was just very, very focused on school and, always doing the right thing, and there were so many people just
doing the wrong thing.
And so I just kind of distanced myself, and maybe that was kind of bitchy in a way, but I just always kept to myself and reserved. And
no, I know high school was an interesting, I guess, situation for me. I don't think I've ever really talked about my high school experience. I mean, just growing up on a farm, K through 12 was in the same building. I mean, it wasn't like Little House on the Prairie, same building, but pretty like reminiscent of that. But I mean, I don't know. I would say that I went through a phase where I was, cheerleading and, I guess running with like sort of the popular crowd. And then they just got really annoying for me. I don't know. They're super fake. It was just really strange. And, there's these weird triangle friendships where one got left out, and then boys came into the picture where, I was dating someone that I didn't know someone else liked. And then suddenly I'm like oh my gosh, it was just so much drama. And I'm thinking, I just want to get through this and get to college and get on with life.
That's how I felt the entire time. I was just so focused on getting out of here, getting through this, getting out of here and on to better things. And it totally turned out that way.
Did you know what you wanted to do in school? I know I ask this of everyone because I have my kids and I'm trying to, did you have a plan, what you wanted to?
I did. It definitely didn't go that way.
What did you want to do?
So I was always very, very focused on school, like straight A's. I wanted to do everything right and be, get ready and get into the best universities. And I wanted to go into the medical field. I don't know, looking back though, if that's what I really wanted or if that's what my parents wanted for me.
Yeah, that happens.
So I did really well in school. I graduated from UC San Diego, but when I was there, I pivoted and I actually studied anthropology.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Which was really interesting.
What were you did you know what you wanted to do with it?
I didn't, honestly.
It just fascinated you?
It's so hard when you're young. It's just fascinating, and I wanted to make my parents proud. And, it's just one of those kind of milestones that I have to achieve this no matter what I do with it. It's going to make mom and dad happy, so... And I think I've always been about making them happy.
A people pleaser?
For sure.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Sure. I'm getting better.
Are you getting better?
Totally. Yeah.
Because sometimes it's like we get so focused, right, on pleasing everyone else that we just get lost in all of that. And then sometimes I think a lot of resentment can come up because of it. Because, I mean, I know for me when I was going to school, for me, it was pleasing my parents, but it also just making sure I didn't like piss my dad off, just like don't do a single thing wrong. Don't come home with a B. I have never received a B in my entire life. I know I say like when my kids were in public school and they were in a really fantastic blue ribbon school, but there were still some little shits that were doing things that I just thought was super inappropriate. And I said to the principal, I've actually never seen the inside of a principal's office until my children attended school, and I'm here quite often. So yeah,
that was me too. Just like
I know, perfect
student. I wanted to be perfect daughter, perfect student, everything. And
do you have siblings?
I do. I have a younger sister and an older brother.
Are they the same as you?
No, I think we're all pretty different.
Okay.
I think my brother had the most pressure. My parents aren't crazy, but they did have high expectations. My dad was a professor. I think I told you yesterday.
Oh, gosh.
He's an art historian, and he takes it very seriously.
He's an academic.
He's amazing.
Yes.
He's one of the smartest, most knowledgeable people I've ever met.
Yes.
My mom is a computer programmer.
Oh my gosh, Vanessa. It's just
and
like, I get it.
They really weren't that hard on us.
Okay.
But I think we internalized it. Like we just had that expectation to live up to what they were and what they wanted for us.
Right.
And my brother was the oldest, so I think he got it early,
the brunt of it, because the first child I think always gets like the word. I know people say like, oh, you read all these books about children and then you just sort of throw the books at them because you're like, which I never did. I've never been abusive toward my children, but I think your first child, you just don't know and you haven't experienced it, so you're the most strict, right? I know I have that with my sister, even though she's my half sister. I've known her my whole life as my sister, and she was always like, why does Amy get, like, the curfew was totally different. The expectation was different, even though for her, like, she hated school. She barely, I mean, it was C's, D's, and F's. She really struggled with school. She wanted nothing to do with school. And then she ended up sort of running with the potheads. And so it's polar opposite of my kind of experience. But, then at the end, I mean, after the whole cheerleading thing, it was interesting. I don't think I've told this story. I was such a goody, right? I didn't do anything wrong, and everyone really saw me that way. And so I was kind of just trying to break out of that mold. And boy, did I ever.
A little bit.
Boy, did I ever. Yeah. So my parents went out of town. Of course, they trusted me because I never did anything wrong. And so I was literally, captain of the varsity cheerleading squad, and, like on my way to probably being valedictorian. And I thought, well, let's have a party right at the house. Yeah. And so flyers went around about this big party. Oh my gosh. There are people in my parents' shower, in the pool, in the fountain out front. I mean, it was a debacle, really. So I spent until probably like 2-3 in the morning scrubbing everything so that there would not be a trace, right? I'm mowing the lawn like 2 in the morning with a flashlight. I had like, you know what I mean? Like the thing you go, like the head flashlight when you go into a cave, like I'm mowing and weed eating and like just making sure everything.
I'm like that when I'm not going to get in trouble. Really? Even after my own birthday, I'm like cleaning up because I don't want to wake up to a mess because I'm crazy.
Oh, I know. No, you're not crazy. You're just, I know I have it too. It's like a little OCD-ish, but type A personality, but I was fine. My parents didn't find out. And literally like 3 weeks later, I get called into the cheerleading, woman that basically took care of us. And she's like, I see that you had a party and you have to understand that you're an example to this school and we hold you in a higher regard. And therefore, you have to get punished. I'm like, oh shit, right? So, because my dad was such an abusive alcoholic, like, how is this going to play out? I mean, at that point, I was old enough at that point, like whatever, 15, 16, that if he had gone to strike me, I was ready to basically like cut his throat. I mean, I just had gotten to this really bad place where I was really angry with him, but so I was scared of that. But more than anything, it was just, they stripped me of my lettering, like my letter for my jacket, but they didn't kick me off the squad because they needed me because I was the smallest and I tumbled, right? And they needed me for the top of their stupid pyramids. You know what I mean? So it's just like, can't get rid of me. So they demoted me and they stripped me so I couldn't get my varsity letter. And then it just made me so mad, and I just rebelled, and I said, I forget you. Next year I went into the work program, quit cheerleading, and then hung out with the potheads. So there you go. Came full circle. God. I mean, I didn't really smoke. I mean, I probably like what Bill Clinton, I didn't inhale. Like just held it to be cool. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's interesting to me because I was so shy. Like people just thought, you're such a bitch, like that you don't talk to people, but it's like, I don't know what to say. Like, I don't I didn't know I don't know what that is. I don't know if it was just lack of self-esteem.
Or sometimes I just don't have anything to say. It's a bunch of people just talking nonsense, random.
So you feel like if you don't have anything to contribute, what's the point?
If I don't have anything valuable to contribute, then I stay quiet. And I think that's just kind of, I don't know, a result of school of like, if I don't have anything interesting to say, then I don't say anything at all. I don't know.
That's so, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Okay, so anthropology. So then you ended up, do you want to talk about any part of life where you ended up? How did you end up in Vegas?
I ended up in Vegas because I went to school at UC San Diego.
Okay.
San Diego is extremely expensive. Yes. So once I graduated, as much as my parents wanted me to continue and get a master's degree, I didn't want to do that. I didn't have interest in continuing, but I was really happy I did it. We just didn't know where to go. I was with my ex at the time. Didn't want to go back to my hometown because I'm not fond of my hometown.
Okay.
I'm fond of my childhood and growing up with my family and the small group of friends that I did have, but my hometown, I had no interest.
Do you want to say what state it's in?
Yeah, Modesto, California.
It's in, California.
Yeah.
Okay. So Northern California. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I didn't want to go back.
Is that where the cows are?
Yeah.
And it smells?
Parts of it. Okay. I mean, not in the part that I grew up, but
they're known for the cows, right?
They're known for agriculture.
I'm thinking Modesto. Okay, so you ended up in Vegas just get away.
Yeah, we heard it was, cheaper and it's fun and it's something new and interesting. So this is where we came. And then I learned about, the clubs and bottle service and stuff, which even though I was, I think 24 at the time, I had never experienced because I didn't party. I didn't go to bars.
Gosh, me neither.
I didn't do any of that. But once I heard about it, I was like, oh, that sounds really fun. I could make a lot of money. I could do this and that. And so then I got into the day club.
How was that experience? It just feels like, for me, I had 3 jobs when I was going to college because I left home really early just to get out of that situation. And I was living just in the, oh my gosh, like cockroach infested, worst dark, curtains and carpet and
survival,
just in survival mode. Yeah. And so I worked at a place called the Orchid Garden in Orlando as a cocktail waitress, and it was treacherous. Like I wasn't in, we had like these dresses, they were purple and they were kind of like Asian inspired. But even then the abuse and just people feeling like they had authority to like grab my ass or touch me. Do you experience that in that environment?
It didn't happen too often. It definitely happened a few times, but I think people learn by now it's not acceptable and security is pretty strict.
Okay.
At least where I worked. They were super strict and they always had our back no matter what.
Wow.
Yeah.
So people weren't taking...
Not too much. A few times. But
I'm sure you've seen it all though. Because...
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I know it's funny.
It's crazy experience.
My husband came out to do this show and we were talking and we could oversee one of the beaches, the topless clubs. And he was like... what are people thinking? Because not that he's a prude, because he's not at all. He ran a nightclub. But what are people thinking that, they're topless, but yet like we could see them from the room on this, 61st floor. I'm like, that's the point. They want to be seen. Do you know what I mean? Like they, want to be seen. But yours was not.
No.
That's not. No.
I was at rehab at Hard Rock for 1 year.
Okay.
That was my first job in the industry, and I just had so much fun, and I think it definitely helped me open up and stop being so shy.
They have DJs there, right?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they have DJ residencies at those?
Yeah.
Or they switch a lot?
They weren't such big DJs at rehab, but once I moved to Wet Republic the next year, that's wild.
Amazing.
That was like a whole nother level.
Because for me, music makes anything better.
Tiesto, Calvin Harris, Aoki, like it was really fun.
Okay.
It was just a whole new world for me. Because like I said, I never partied. I never drank. I never smoked. I never did any of that. And so this just kind of opened up this whole new experience. And I had so much fun every weekend, and it helped me become more outgoing. Also being with John helped me become more outgoing.
He's a very outgoing guy.
So
yeah, he's amazing. He was telling me how you met. I think he was walking by. John is like just he's such I can't explain, like he reminds
so charming.
Me. Yeah, he reminds me of my husband in such a way where he is the guy that he would literally give his shirt off his back to anybody. If you're having a bad day, the person you call is John.
For sure.
It's the same with my husband. I mean, he is one of the smartest kindest, funniest human beings I have ever met. And I've met a lot of people through Hollywood, and he's so unaffected, right, by any experience that he's had in his life. Sorry to be talking about you, John, when you see this.
He's gonna love it.
But yeah, you would think, I mean, if anyone deserved to be an asshole, it would be John Orlando. And he's the polar opposite. Yeah. I mean, at any time, and you say his name, people are like, oh my God, he's the coolest guy. He's the coolest dude.
And I saw that so early, and that's part of what attracted me, because he, obviously in the very beginning, he told me about himself, and I was just like, wow, he's so friendly, and
he knows everybody.
And he's so sweet. Like, he doesn't seem like the asshole I would expect.
Yes.
Growing up that way, and he just seems so different from all the people that I had met. I did live in LA for 1 year, and in between community college and UCSD, and LA, I was just like, oh, I can't do it with these people.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, nowadays, I guess they call it flexing. I don't know, like on social media and stuff, but it was just like real life flexing with these people, and it just I had a hard time finding just friends, people that had any substance. Right. And I think for some reason, LA draws in a lot of people that are so insecure. Yeah. And they think that somehow by booking a job or being on a magazine cover, that's going to somehow make them whole. Yeah. And in actuality, it just exasperates the problem. You're
in a constant race for more validation.
Oh my gosh. And your own, like, you feel good about yourself if you're working, and when you're not working, you just feel like you're just a complete piece of shit, which is terrible, to put your full validation as a human being on a job, especially in the industry, because I mean, it ebbs and flows. It's like mountains and peaks, you know what I mean? And then like valley,
and
low,
it's
low.
Connections, and it's money, and it's all kinds of other things that.
Yeah, I don't know how anyone just go. I mean, I did it. I got on the 10 freeway by myself, drove to California, but I had saved a lot of money. I mean, I took 3 jobs. And so I don't know how anyone comes out here. Like, we talk, I worked with The Rock on the WWE, and he says he had maybe, like $200 in his pocket.
How do they make it?
I don't know. How do you even start? Because you have to have headshots, and you have to have gas for a car to go to lots of auditions before you even book anything. Then when you do book something, it can take up to 3 months to even get paid. It's like, right?
Yeah.
How do you even sort of start? But so God bless anyone. But you're in the industry, you're modeling out here.
Kind of. Yeah. Kind of. I'm not so deep into it. I don't think I have the experience that you do, but mostly for, smaller things, the industry jobs or those venues. I've done some modeling for them.
I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit, Vanessa.
I think I probably never do. John says I never give myself enough credit.
I mean, I think about your physique, and I was like, I don't want to talk to her about her physique, because I know everyone asks you about your physique, but look, it's one thing to be in shape. Okay. It's another thing to be in really good shape. And then there's Vanessa level.
Thank you.
So, I mean, how do you get, I mean, obviously, look, you're incredibly disciplined with your eating, but how do you get to that and maintain it? Like for me, I would say, okay, I have an X factor. I know that I'm going to do the cover of such and such magazine, whatever, whether it was Maxim, and it's in 2 weeks.
That's your goal.
That was my goal. It's my
motivation.
X factor. So like literally cut out every carb, no sugar, working out twice a day, upping my cardio, that whole thing. Yeah. And I was a lot younger. You maintain, it's not like you have consistent jobs that but you maintain this. How do you do that mentally?
I do have to say, I think I have really lucky genetics for one thing. But I also just have my entire life, I've been an athlete. I was a gymnast as a kid. Okay. I was obsessed with PE was my favorite. Like that's where I came alive and I was smiling and I was really happy. Okay. I was very competitive. That I loved running and pull-ups and climbing the rope and all that kind of stuff. It just made me feel really good about myself. And gymnastics helped build the foundation of strong muscles. A strong core, I think, is the base of your entire physique. Yeah. And then as soon as I quit that, I started weight training and I became really obsessed with that, learning everything I could about it. And I was really into bodybuilding for a few years, tried competing. I did well, but it wasn't for me.
I don't know what you get out. It's like hard for me, like with bodybuilders. Like I don't know what people, other than sponsorships and stuff, like I don't know the bodybuilding circuit at all, or like the WB, that whole thing. Like, I never know what comes out of that. Like, do you win money when you don't, huh?
No.
Yeah. It's just the prestige of having that title in front of your name.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Got it.
You only really win money if you're at the very highest level at like the Olympia.
Oh gosh.
But at that point, I feel like you put in so much money.
Right.
It really has to be for like your heart and soul and your personal, sense of accomplishment, which is great if that works for you. But for me, it wasn't really enough. Yeah. But I maintain it for myself just because it makes me happy. It makes me feel good.
Makes you feel good.
When I look good, I feel good, and I like being strong. I like challenging myself. So
it's also probably being petite. Listen, I love feeling strong and being strong, because then it's also like no one can take advantage. Not that you're in a situation now, because obviously, you're just with a stellar human being, right, as your partner. But I think, gymnastics was such a great foundation. How long did you do gymnastics?
I really only did it for about 5 years, because I didn't start until I was 10, which is really old for a gymnast. But I got in and I started competing pretty quickly, and I did really well.
Did you ever have a day? Because I had a day, gosh, I must have been 6 or 7. And I was in a protege group that was learning really quickly. And I was great on everything, just the balance beam. Every now and then, I just would have this fear.
This freeze up.
I couldn't. I just would have this fear, and he would call out like, "Okay, what's your trick?" The hardest thing that you were doing, and I knew it was a backflip, and I lied and said back handspring, just because I don't know why I felt like I couldn't go backwards without my hands that particular day, and so to punish me, he put me back in like the beginner class of like 2 and 3 year olds.
Oh my God.
Doing somersaults like on the floor.
Yeah.
And I just, after that, I was like, okay, I'm done. But gymnastics is so hard. Okay, wait, I don't think
so much pressure in gymnastics.
So much pressure.
And I think that added to myself, the pressure that I put on myself still.
To be the very best.
For sure.
And for your body. So I don't think you may not be old enough. Did you guys ever have to do that Arnold Schwarzenegger competition thing where like you had to do so many pull-ups in a minute and did you guys have that?
I don't remember doing that.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I feel like I'm you when I talk about this story, because back in the day of the schoolhouse, like Little Red Schoolhouse, they had a competition that it was just, Arnold Schwarzenegger was really trying to inject, physical fitness into the school system and, eating right. And so they would have this little competition. And so you would have to do as many sit-ups, meaning like, your knees, someone's holding your knees,
right,
okay, in a minute, and then you had to do pull-ups. Okay, then there was a bar where you had to keep your chin above the bar, and you had to hold it to see who could hold it the longest. Did you do
I remember stuff like that. I don't remember it being connected to Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's what I don't remember. Okay. But I think do remember I was super competitive, and I was like, I'm going to beat all these boys, and I did. I did too.
I won this thing. I literally, my hands were shaking.
So happy. They hated me.
I was turning blue, right? I was like, I don't give a shit.
We'll not give up.
It's the chin up thing. And people were like, you just won because you don't weigh that much.
You're small,
right?
Your push-ups, you're like, you're close to the ground. I'm like, you're on the ground.
You're on the ground too. Physics, people. It's
like so. You're a dude. Right. So you should be able.
You're not a Mack truck. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. You're still pushing up the same weight, really. Like, oh my gosh, that's so
relatively,
funny.
Proportionally. It's not like I have your arms.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So now you're not really doing the wet roller. You got out of that.
Yeah, I did get out of that, which I wanted to after 30 anyway, but Corona kind of made that decision for me.
Yeah.
So I got hired for my 4th year at Wet, but we only had 1 weekend of work, and then that was it.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's interesting here. I don't know. It's I don't really go into the casinos much because I just fly in to come and do the podcast and stuff, but I don't know. I thought it was getting back to kind of normal, but then this trip, it feels weird.
Does it?
It's like,
what seems different for you?
Just not as many people. I felt like it was starting to get back to normal. And then when the whole new wave came, it just feels like there just weren't as many people like in the casino or in the restaurants. I don't know, just walking around.
We're not going to the casinos quite as much. I mean, John, actually, he's been playing a lot of poker. I haven't been to the casinos much lately. Yeah. But I went a few days ago for a birthday at a club. And
was it packed?
It was packed.
Maybe it's just because I go to sleep at 8 or something. It's too early.
We didn't go in until midnight. So yeah.
How do you stay awake?
Yeah, it was a lot.
Oh
And when I was there, it was crazy packed. The casino was packed too at midnight. And I was thinking about it. I was like, wait, I haven't been inside a club since before Corona, which is crazy. I mean, because I used to work in it and we would go to outings all the time. So like for a few years, I was going all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Weird. That is,
Get back in there. It seemed normal to me. It seemed...
Maybe it's just because I was an early bird and it was like the early bird special for like the older people like myself. And they're just normal people that actually start. That is true. Cause I think in Vegas things get started a lot later than what I'm accustomed to. Like you start getting ready at 10.
Right.
To go out at 11. And I'm like, where is everyone? It's like 6 o'clock.
They're all getting ready for dinner at 10:30.
Oh
right.
My gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So keeping with your physique. I read that you ate breakfast and it made me so happy because I wake up and I'm like, I really try to intermittent fast, but I wake up so hungry.
I'm starving every morning.
Me too. I mean, I don't eat past like 5:30. So I know that's probably, I'm fasting regardless, but, oh my gosh, I'm starving in the morning.
Starving.
Yeah.
Me too. I really don't have a crazy strict schedule. I mean, for several years, I was pretty obsessed and I would like time my meals and I would measure.
Oh, gosh.
But that was when I was like learning about nutrition and how,
so you're doing macros
how to do all
and
of
micros.
So I did all of that.
Okay.
Which I don't believe in doing that long term. I don't believe in doing that forever, but I'm glad I did because it taught me a lot about my body and what my body specifically needed.
Okay.
And so now everything is more intuitive. And I know that this is kind of the portions that I need and what's going to keep me on track. And what I can get away with having, little desserts here and there and like normal food like cereal, which I actually have all the time.
Like sugary
like
cereal?
Normal cereal.
Or like Whole Foods cereal?
No, like like Cheerios or like Great Grains or...
Really?
Yeah.
But like with almond milk?
Almond milk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you do dairy at all?
I don't. Ice cream, but I don't drink milk. I don't really eat much cheese.
Okay.
I just don't really like it, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Like if you had a whole cheese platter, that just would not, that's not your thing.
It's not my thing, which probably is making my dad cry because he's obsessed with cheese.
I'm obsessed with cheese. We used to go to Wisconsin, snowmobile, and we would come home with like, I don't know, like 3 years worth of cheese. Who's going to eat frozen cheese? I mean, we had to freeze it.
This huge drawer full of cheese. He had like books on cheese. He had his cheese guy at this one supermarket that like...
Oh, he's really serious about it.
He's really serious. And like every time I'm like, no, thanks.
Even as a kid,
so devastated.
Darn you, Vanessa. You didn't go into art and you're not eating my cheese.
I know.
You're such a disappointment.
I know. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. How do you do? Okay.
It's pretty funny.
I mean, look, I have like this whole celiac thing now that I'm dealing with, which it's fine because look, for me, food was never, I love cooking it. I love cooking for people, but I'm not that person. Like I know my mom she's incredibly obese. And so when I would watch her eat, even as a child, it was just almost traumatic. Like the giant cheeseburger with like onion stuff hanging out the side. And I was just like
seeing it kind of makes
seeing it made me feel, and I don't have a bad relationship with food. I never had, anorexia
Disorders,
or bulimia, no disorder whatsoever. Listen, I like to eat. It's just, I'm not like, oh my gosh, look at that piece of, steak. I don't freak out about food like a foodie kind of person would. But I find myself like sometimes like if I see people just, I don't know, just being so overindulgent. I don't know. It does kind of make me.
It kind of makes me
Is it
cringe.
the same with you?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be judgy about it, but I'm just thinking, gosh, do you understand
what you're doing to your body?
What you're doing to your body? Yeah. I just see the artery clogging before my eyes, and and I'm not even in like the shape that you're in. So yeah,
you're still in great shape though.
But what about John? Is John do you have to keep him?
He works out regularly, but he goes on and off on the good diet, bad diet.
Okay.
He drinks a lot of soda, and we eat out all the time. So when you're asking about my diet, these days my diet is kind of all over the place, but I think the biggest thing to keep on track is portion control.
Okay.
And not going crazy with the dressings or the cheese or
Yeah.
the oils and the extra
For me, it's
added
the
fats.
sugar.
Like we go out a lot, but I pick, salmon and vegetables and like the healthy things that I
Right.
actually enjoy anyway.
Okay.
But John,
I
he likes
know.
a lot of junk food.
He told me he eats like a toddler,
He does.
which is interesting.
Grilled cheese, peanut butter and jelly,
Which I love.
chips.
I know. If I could order off the kids menu for the rest of my life. He eats Pop-Tarts?
Oh yeah.
I love Pop-Tarts.
He eats them in the evening all the time.
I don't
and
even think it's real food.
It's not.
not.
It's like plastic, but
But it makes him happy.
it makes him happy, so I still buy them for him.
It's so funny. At least he's not having to hide food from you like I did when I was dating someone that was really fit.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I was saying
No.
like my whole car would smell like peanut butter from the Reese's peanut butter cups that were melting in the
No.
car.
I still buy him his Pop-Tarts and his
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Yeah, I tried to make homemade Pop-Tarts once. They just don't taste the same.
Yeah, I feel like
There's something about the plastic that's just really delicious. I don't know what it is. Like I know it's super unhealthy.
Yeah.
But look, you have
I
to
usually steal some of it though.
you have to live a little. Wait,
Yeah.
what flavor does he eat?
brown sugar cinnamon.
Oh gosh.
That's the best.
I like the Oreo, like the white. It's got the cream filling.
haven't
It's
tried
like
that one.
white and it's got chocolate on it.
I'll have to try that.
It tastes like a toasted, like, I don't know, marshmallow without it's like marshmallow fluff inside
Ooh,
of
he
it.
would love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike, I had to get my son actually would be sneaking Pop-Tarts a lot.
Yeah.
So what I did was I just, I told him the story about when I was a child and we had Pop-Tarts that went bad and we were living in.
Do they go bad?
They can go bad. They have an expiration date. But John's probably eating them.
they actually go bad.
Well, John's probably eating them quick enough that they're not going to
Yes.
go past the expiration date. But I was buying in bulk for whatever reason. I don't know why, because I got super busy and I don't go to Costco, but I would buy like on Amazon, and they would come. I was thinking I was buying just a box of 12 and it was actually 12 boxes of 12.
Oh my God.
So like, right, do the math.
Yeah.
Lot of Pop-Tarts, cherry Pop-Tarts. And, but I don't know what happened in Florida. You get a lot of ants. And you can't, especially in the summer, you can't keep a lot of your sweets in the cabinet. You have to actually put them in the refrigerator, which
Oh, how annoying.
my mom didn't do. And so I just remember, and maybe John will hear this and I'll get him off his Pop-Tart thing. I bit into a Pop-Tart and there were ants inside it. So there were ants in my on my face in my mouth. It was like literally like the most disgusting, traumatizing. I didn't eat a Pop-Tart for a solid 20 years after that. Just like because I mean I wanted one, but every time I looked at it, all I could see were like this disgusting
like
ants.
feel it on you.
You can. Oh, like and they were in my mouth, face. Yeah. So I was like, okay, at least I'm ready for Fear Factor if it ever comes back because I've already experienced.
Do you think you could do that show?
No.
No chance.
Okay, because I was supposed to do this thing, which listen, I'll probably just pay the money. Please don't judge me, people. My company is having a thing called Over the Edge, and it's to kick off the fight against homelessness in Los Angeles. And they want me to basically scale the Hyatt in Universal City Walk, which is a 24-story building. So they want me to rappel off the side of the Hyatt, right? Not like Motel 6. It's like the Hyatt, which is really high.
Yeah, I don't.
And I know all the safety measures would be put in place and stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. Even if I have to take like a Xanax before I get hooked in, I'm going to do it because this is really important. It's a great initiative to basically, kick homelessness to the curb. And then I'm ready to sign up. And I talked to my friend who did it last year and she's like, I said, how was it? And she said, it was god awful. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe don't
I wish you would
tell
lie to me.
Maybe don't tell me because it's better for me just to experience it firsthand, whatever. And she goes, no, let me explain to you. I go, no, please don't explain to me. Like it's so she goes into these horror details of how as she got over the side, she didn't want to go anymore, but then you couldn't go back up. And then she said that like the whole world started spinning. And then she's like, someone said to me, Amy, it's literally a minute and a half. you push off the building, you're down to the ground. It's not, she said it felt like it was 2 hours of her life. The rope kept getting longer and longer, even though she could. And then it's like, she said, like the floor is lava. Yeah. Like that whole experience, like she felt like she couldn't see the ground. It was like, why? Now I feel like so just knowing that about myself, the ants in my mouth, I think fear factor's not in my future.
Yeah, no. I couldn't do it.
Could you do it?
No. I mean, there's some of the stunts I think I could do. Like I love roller coasters. I've been skydiving.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Some of those things are fun, but I don't know about scaling the side of a building. I feel like that's scarier than skydiving. I don't know how, but it just seems scarier to me. Yeah.
I just feel like you're just out in the open. I don't know. I know you're strapped in, but
mostly the food I couldn't do because I'm really picky.
Yeah, and I'm like, I know you're not supposed to kill snakes and stuff, but I will chop a snake's head off like a hot minute. Like if literally any snake comes in me, I don't care if you're poisonous or not. I just don't like you because you don't have legs, and something that doesn't have legs should not exist. Yeah,
just shouldn't be,
other than a penis. Which, yeah, sorry, just had to throw that in there. I'm not anti-penis, sorry, because it doesn't have legs, but just just
everybody
animal,
knows.
Insect, family. Legs like worms. I mean, when I love fishing, but someone has to basically put the worm on the hook. Yeah. We went fishing the other day, and like those things can withstand some shit. Like they literally, I was fishing, and then I don't know, 10 minutes later, it's still squirming on the hook. Like, first of all, I punctured you through your heart,
and makes then me feel bad though.
You're drowning. How are you still alive? I'm like, this is like literally
this is wrong.
He needs to be let go because he's saying like there's something important that I have to do in life that I literally should be living. I'm a proof, right? That you literally have tried to kill me in every way possible, and I'm still. I know, and I finally just said I can't. Let's just So
this is too.
Told my husband.
Feel bad. Yeah.
Do you can't kill any bugs?
No. John laughs at me because if there's like a bug in the house, I'll take it outside. Like he will be ready to murder it right there.
Anything?
Whatever it is. But
scorpion?
Oh, no, that's a scary one.
Yeah.
I still don't want to kill it though.
Okay.
But I don't know. I haven't had any scorpions in the house, but like beetles, even spiders.
Yeah, spiders.
I don't kill spiders.
Yeah, I always tell my kids, listen, spiders actually are good because they eat other insects and other kind of spiders. But when you have kids and they're screaming at the top and they're on the vanity, I don't usually have that. Usually flushing down the toilet, and I just Hail Mary that they can swim.
Oh my god!
Like long enough they can get into the ocean.
Through the pipes. Oh my god!
You can do it as it's like flush it. Like
I got to tell you, we were such weird kids. Like we played with bugs all the time.
You did?
We would play with spiders. Yeah, living in Modesto. I mean, I don't think other kids were like this, but we were super weird.
Sorry,
we would catch lizards. We would play with spiders and all kinds of
snakes. Are you okay with snakes?
We had snakes. My brother had pythons.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I would hold them. We had a tarantula. My sister and I were super weird.
Wait, like a tarantula, but they had taken the poison out of it? Or
I don't think it was poisonous, but they do have big fangs. I mean, he was the size of my hand now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I think I've seen a movie where it got loose. It
got loose in our house once for 2 weeks, and we found it. My mom found it in the linen closet. But
was it alive?
Yeah.
What does it eat? What do tarantulas eat?
They eat crickets.
So you had to get live crickets. Yeah. Did you feel bad feeding the live crickets to the?
With the tarantula, it wasn't so bad with the crickets, but with my brother's snakes,
it was tough.
Mice, right? I would not. I would not do it. I didn't want to even be in the house because you can like.
I know because I accidentally killed a little mouse once because in Illinois,
so sad.
I was getting a hot pad to get something out of the oven, and I saw it, and my reflexes were so fast that I caught it by its neck in the drawer of where the hot pad. It was in the hot pad drawer, and I think I cried for a whole month solid. No. I just felt so bad because I didn't mean to kill it.
Like, I don't want it in my house, but I don't want to hurt it.
So obviously, listen, I'm clear. I don't know what you call me, but I'm a selective person because if you have fur, I'm totally cool with you, except for a tarantula.
Yeah, and they is pretty furry. It's cute.
Okay, so I have to add to my list. So, like, if you have no fur and no legs, you probably don't want to come across my path. I will stomp the life out of you.
That's where your heart is just like,
done. Yeah. John said you saw a fox the other day, though.
We did. Oh my god, the cutest little thing. It was was probably the size of a cat. Had
Desert
the biggest
fox?
ears. I looked it up because it kind of looked like a fennec fox, but I know that those aren't here.
Okay.
It's called a kit fox, which looks really similar. They're super cute.
My
and he
daughter
kept coming
loves.
out.
Oh my god!
It was at like 3 a.m. after the club.
3 a.m. Do you thank God you went to the club? You wouldn't be able to see the fennel fox. Do you think that it was someone's pet?
No. 'Cause we live right on the mountain.
Okay.
So we live. Yeah, there's only like 2 houses behind us, and then there's the mountain.
So it came from the mountain.
Yeah, there's coyotes in our neighborhood. We hear them.
Too.
I've seen a bigger gray fox with like a long bushy tail.
Okay.
I've seen him walking on our streets. And then this little guy who is so cute.
Yeah, I almost got into a fist
Super
fight with
cute.
a bobcat the other day. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know when things
What
come
happened?
in. Because what happens is because, okay.
I mean,
know
you
this
do
about me.
live out in.
I'm going to
I can imagine what you
psychoanalyze the
see out
shit
there.
out of myself right now. Okay, because I couldn't protect myself as a kid. Now I have children. Now, if there's anything that I think could potentially hurt my children or my dogs,
fight to the death.
I'm going to fight you to the death. I'm not going to just be like, get out of my yard. Like, I'm angry you're in my yard and now you freaked my children out.
Yeah.
I just go racing toward it. Like, let's go.
Really?
I don't know what it is. And my husband's like,
You don't even understand
but he said,
what's
he goes,
happening.
You
You
have
just
a
like
screw. Like, he's not being mean. He's like, that's wrong. There's something really wrong with you that's a bobcat. Like, what are you doing? Like,
I don't think so. I think it's that maternal
just an
instinct. Like you have to protect your children at all costs.
I won't go toward danger, like weird stuff. But like, if there's a snake, I literally, I don't know. I'm going to find the first thing I can to kill. It's just in me to take control.
Just instant, like,
I know.
remove this threat from my
I
family.
gotta find some.
No,
kind of
that's good.
Animal therapy, me and killing of animals, and Vanessa's over here trying to save them. We're like the polar opposite.
I'm like, no, don't hurt it.
Oh my goodness. So do you ever train people, or is it's?
No, I mean,
You're not interested in that.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I know. Sometimes I feel like, am I just selfish or lazy? I just don't really enjoy it because I think so many people are starting from day one, and I think it's kind of frustrating for me because I was an athlete for so long. I've been doing this forever.
So
and
the patience that you need is not really there. But
Yeah,
I see
I think
that you
it's
share.
not.
But you share on social media. I see that you share a lot of your techniques or exercises that you do that work for you. And I saw you even like kind of like pared it down for a beginner. You're like, if you're gonna do curtsy squats, you know what I mean? Maybe don't go up on a box. So in essence, you're just giving out free advice, which is probably better than paying a trainer.
Yeah. I prefer to do it that way, to just like give it to the masses, and whoever wants to take it, great.
Yeah.
And if you don't, that's fine. And I like to help my friends and teach them what I know.
Yeah.
That I enjoy. But as far as doing it as a business and
No
kind of
interest.
being responsible for people's expectations of results
Yeah.
can be really frustrating because people want to go to this like,
Oh, I don't think about that. I can imagine like a hairstylist when someone wants to go really dark to blonde. People
Right.
think like you can do it
One
in 8
step,
hours,
like,
one
no.
step shop. No,
you got to come back in 2 months and then 4 months and then 6
no.
months.
I tried it. Have you ever gone light to do?
I
your
mean,
hair?
I just started just doing balayage, just even like a tiny bit of lightening. Sorry,
That's
just
okay.
a tiny bit of lightening toward the bottom. Like
Yes.
it's a long process.
No, I tried to go blonde, and I was
wouldn't-
convinced by Beverly Hills Salon that in one take my hair wasn't going to fall out and I could do it. And then
It'll destroy your hair.
oh, not only that, but it's like you can't get away from baboon ass orange. That's the color, right? On the chart. Like the Pantheon color is like it's orange,
Yeah.
like a baboon. And so you have to literally just keep stripping your hair and just killing it to get to the blonde. And then I don't have the patience, so I probably couldn't be a trainer either because I didn't have the patience. I think I sat there 8 hours and they're like, you look beautiful. And I was like, I look like I should be on the street corner. I mean, like, I just like, it was so raggedy. Like I look so ratchet. Right. I was like, do I have a hat in the car? It's like, you know what I mean?
Terrible mistake.
It lasted all of maybe 3 hours. And then I got like box hair color and then dyed it back dark. And then it was like super black.
Oh my gosh, that's exactly what I did the first time because I tried doing balayage like 3 years ago.
Okay.
I went to 2 different salons and it just was not right. It was not the right color. It was like all the way up and I just wanted toward the bottom.
Yeah.
It was nothing what I asked for. So same thing. I ended up going to blocks,
Do a
black,
box
and then
color?
it was way too dark. And I'm like, and then now I look at pictures and I'm like, oh God, that was really harsh.
Oh my gosh.
But
it's
same
funny.
thing. I don't have the patience to. It's weird because I have patience for working out. I have patience for John, for my family, for so many things, or the projects that I do,
Right.
I will sit there and like those lines in the front room.
The wall that you painted, oh my gosh, this is like she's literally a professional painter.
The boys helped me.
But your dad as an artist did you show him this wall?
Yeah, they love it.
He should have been like, oh my gosh.
I'll have to show you his art. It's incredible.
I would love, because my daughter actually is an artist, and I keep saying, what do you want to do with it? Because I'm trying to figure out her why. Like, obviously, your why, because, keeping fit for yourself and stuff, you've kind of figured that out. That's why you're able to have the patience, right, for it. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, what type of art does she want to do? Because it's so specific. She's into dragons because she's reading Wings of Fire, this book series now. And so it's just incredible, the dragons that she's drawing. And so my son and her, they're writing their first children's book.
How cute.
They're 12, which is really
adorable.
cute. And it's all about, like, I always just said, look, just make sure there's a message. There's got to be something, if there's a fable or something, there has to be some type of symbolism or some kind of a message. And so for them, it was, even if you look different than me, we can still be friends.
How cute.
But it's animals. So they're doing like these animals. And I thought, why don't you just draw it yourself? Like, you should animate it and illustrate the book because you're so good at it. But I think the pressure of the backgrounds and stuff, like, she kind of like got a little bit hesitant. But
yeah, I think, I love that you want them to have the message in the book that they're writing. But for the art, just from my own experience and watching my dad, he honestly doesn't do it for a purpose. He doesn't sell them. He doesn't put them in galleries. Like, he puts them in very small shows just every once in a while. He's incredible.
Wow.
I have to show you after this.
Yeah.
He is insanely talented, but he just does it because he loves it.
Right.
Just for the pure passion of it.
But he did sort of turn the love of it into being a professor, which is really cool.
But he will paint. Not anymore. He's older, but for the longest time, he would paint for 10 or 12 hours straight. Like, my mom would have to make him stop and eat something.
That's her. She won't eat. She'll get on something.
He will be completely consumed.
Yeah.
And that's the patience that I kind of have. Like, I had to clean up all those white lines in the front because we had a lot of bleed through on the tape. And same thing with a wall at my house. Like, I will do that, clean it up for like 6 hours and not realize that 6 hours has gone by.
Oh my gosh, that's focus.
So I have focus and patience for certain things and very little for others.
Well, thank God you have them for John.
Tell me about it.
I'm feeling a bad
Tell me about it.
Oh my gosh. Well, you're lovely.
Thank you.
Just lovely.
You too.
I see you and obviously I know I've never seen John happier. And I've known him for a really, really long time and seen him in, many different situations, businesses, and dealing with, publicity and everything. And he glows. If a man can glow, it's John's basically showing that. And I know it's really...
I'm so happy to hear that.
It's a direct reflection, really, of just, I think, you and the partnership that you guys have and the business that you're building. And I'm so thankful for the both of you for having me in your studio and allowing me to do.
I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah, something
so great to finally meet you. I've heard about you for a long time.
Thank you.
He tells me all the stories. He's full of stories.
Oh, yes.
So I've definitely heard.
He probably has more than me, shockingly.
I know.
So I so appreciate your time and just, your honesty with sharing your life with us. And hopefully we'll do it again.
Yeah, I would love to.
All right.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening, you guys. I really appreciate it. As always, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, if I can talk. And stay tuned for the next one. I've got a lot of really great shows coming up, and I can't wait to share them with you.